Elaborate, sometimes days-long parties by coercing victims through drugs, threats, and manipulation. They claim to have video evidence, and some of the accusations echo details from over 70 civil lawsuits filed against Combs over the last 30 years.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Shawn Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
We have the latest from federal court in the Shawn Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection, what Diddy's going to be wearing, violation of a gag order, rejecting a plea offer.
What happens when the walls close in? Not from your enemies, but from your own family. For music mogul Shawn Diddy Combs, the answer is unfolding in real time. Behind the polished brand, behind the chart-topping hits and billion-dollar ventures lies a crumbling empire, and at the center of its collapse is his own son, Christian Combs. Once the heir to the bad boy throne, now a potential star witness in the most explosive celebrity trial of the decade. Diddy has always portrayed himself as untouchable. The lavish parties, the private jets, the tightly controlled public image. But when federal agents stormed his Los Angeles and Miami mansions in March, grabbing devices, ledgers, and encrypted messages, that mask began to slip. Fast forward to now, and prosecutors allege that behind Diddy's luxury lifestyle was a sprawling network of shell companies, secret payments, and guest lists that read more like a federal watch list than a party RSVP. And just days before opening, reports broke that Christian Combs had quietly met with prosecutors. Not once, but twice. Documents reveal that his name appears in a sealed memo as the insider who can unlock the truth. A truth that might shatter whatever remains of his father's reputation. But let's rewind. Diddy recently rejected a plea deal that could have capped his sentence at 12 years. All he had to do was admit guilt on one count of trafficking and one related to coercion. It would have cost him $20 million in forfeitures, plus the firearms seized during March raids. But Diddy refused. His defense team made it crystal clear. There would be no admission of guilt, no bowing to the government's narrative. No settlement that paints our client as a conspirator is acceptable. His lead attorney said defiantly outside the courthouse. This defiance might earn him loyalty from some, but loyalty within his own house? That's another story. Christian Combs, known to fans as King Combs, has always walked a careful line, balancing his father's legacy with his own ambitions in music and fashion. But according to 2 law enforcement insiders, he's now cooperating behind closed doors. Not officially charged, not officially cleared, just cooperating. And the timing? Telling. His meetings began just as Diddy's inner circle started, complaining that they were being kept in the dark. Suddenly, the son's silence felt less like support and more like strategy. Court filings say Christian holds knowledge about everything, from private Gulfstream flights to hush money transfers. Prosecutors claim he signed off on yacht rentals, charter invoices, and even internal company expenses linked to Diddy's infamous all-white parties in the Hamptons and Biscayne Bay. Encrypted messages allegedly show him coordinating guest lists, lining up catering services, and arranging post-party cash distributions. But here's where the stakes skyrocket. Christian's cooperation isn't just about facts. It's about emotion. Legal experts know that family testimony hits jurors differently. It humanizes the story. It gives the paper trail a heartbeat. Former U.S. Attorney Mark Diaz says, "Money shows the how, family shows the why." And that's exactly what prosecutors are banking on. Christian's testimony, they believe, could tie together $74 million in suspect transactions, spread across 17 shell companies registered in Delaware, Nevada, and the British Virgin Islands. The ledgers, they don't lie. Wire transfers, linked to events labeled Private VIP Weekend or White Sands Retreat. Flight logs listing 8 passengers flown to the Bahamas, with the costs footed by shell companies connected to Bad Boy Entertainment. The problem? Some of those ledgers bear Christian's signature. Diddy's defense calls this a smear campaign. They argue these were routine industry events, glorified networking mixers, not recruitment zones for criminal activity. And they say Christian didn't call the shots. He was a young performer, they claim, unaware of the broader financial ecosystem around him. But prosecutors disagree. They say Christian was more than a passive witness. He was a facilitator, and while his legal team hasn't confirmed a formal immunity deal, his sudden proximity to the investigation has everyone talking. friends say Christian was visibly shaken after March's raids, especially when video footage showed federal agents swarming his dad's house, the same house where he often recorded music. Since then, his public appearances have dwindled, and tour dates have quietly disappeared from his social pages. A rep for his label confirmed everything's on pause, out of respect for the legal process. Meanwhile, the ripple effects of Diddy's legal saga are spreading like wildfire. Major liquor distributors are pausing contracts with De Leon Tequila. Warner Music executives have convened emergency calls to assess whether streaming royalties might be frozen under asset seizure rules. Even the planned July auction of Diddy's private art collection is now uncertain. Sotheby's says it can't guarantee a clear title until the forfeiture questions are resolved. And inside the Combs family itself, the cracks are widening. Reports say investigators have also reached out to Diddy's other sons, Justin Combs and Quincy Brown, though neither has agreed to speak. Still, federal agents aren't giving up. They believe family members were involved, or at least witnessed, transactions that could corroborate key charges. The cultural divide over Christian's possible testimony is also growing. On social media, hashtags like Protect King Combs clash with Black Wall of Silence. On one hand, some praise Christian for stepping up. On the other, critics say the feds are weaponizing family, tearing apart a Black-owned empire for headlines.